One Star Rewind.
All right, everybody. We have another awesome episode of One Star Rewind. I'm here with Brett and Micah, owners of Move Waco.
Yep.
Guys, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah,
Appreciate it, man.
Anytime.
Yeah.
We always start off, it's brought to us by Rogue Media Network, or anywhere you can get your podcasts. Come to Rogue. We'll have this episode up probably in a little bit, so it won't be up this week, but we'll get there. So before we dive in, every episode kind of start off by getting to know y'all a little bit, and then the story of Move Waco, how it came to be, and then we'll dive into the review and kind of do our thing. So first off, tell us a little bit about each of you, and then let's talk about Move Waco.
Yeah, for sure.
So my name is Micah Jones, born and raised here in Waco, Texas. Graduated from Lorena. Just love Waco, big Waco history guy. My family, we're here in Waco, so we should be here for a while. Kind of plan on, staying here for a while. And then, I worked for a moving company for a little bit. Cool. And so, Rhett and I grew up together. And so, we decided we kind of wanted to do a business together. And so that's kind of how we, rejoined forces. So.
Sure. I remember watching this, it was like a Shark Tank episode, and it was the guys that did the college hunks or whatever the name of that is. But they were trying to do this like secondary version where it was like girls moving and they had some name for it. And I remember the sharks were like, we don't want to invest in that. Like, we want to invest in your main business, and they were like, no, we really are just looking for an investment for this secondary offshoot. And they were just so like, no, we want the main one. We want the main one. And when I'm watching, I knew Rhett, so I'm sorry, Mike, but I was thinking of Rhett, and I'm like, oh man, this Move Waco thing, is, it's a business that you always need, right? Everybody needs movers, and so I just couldn't get you guys out of my head watching that episode. I'm like, just picturing you on there, like starting your sister business, whatever move or whatever. But, So anyway, sorry, I don't know why I thought of that, but well, very cool. Okay, so Mike, when did you graduate?
From Lorena, 2011.
2011. Yes, Lorena.
Yes, sir.
I always say Lorena.
Lorena's probably correct. That's correct. Yeah.
Is Lorena correct?
Lorena's correct, but if no one says, I feel like everyone from Lorena says Lorena. That's weird.
I'm giving him a little. I don't think so. I think it's Lorena.
It's Lorena?
I think it's Spanish, isn't it? Maybe not.
I don't know. We work with high school students in this entrepreneurship program, and Lorena is now is first year they've been added to our program. So we have a few students this summer from Lorena. So I've been practicing Lorena, and I say Lorena, and they're like, where? And I'm like, Lorena. Sorry. Okay, Rhett, tell us about you.
Yeah, so same from Lorena, born and raised. Grew up there my whole life. Found my now wife in middle school. We started dating in middle school. So we both went off to Texas State, graduated. Have a little daughter now, Rory Jane. She's a year and a half old. So doing that. But like Micah said, we actually grew up right down the street from each other. So our first business we started, we were 12 years old, mowing lawns on the street. But one of our buddies got, what did he get hit by a rock, I think, right? One of our buddies got hit in the shin by the rock. So we were retired after that.
Okay, wait. Oh my God. So I'm so stupid. I'm just not reading the shirt. Am I saying this wrong?
Well, no. So to that point, this is kind of new, and you may not even know this.
I don't even think I know it.
So we're really Serve Waco is our business name, and that's kind of just what we put everything under. So we still have Move Waco Moving Service, Mow Waco Lawn Care, and Light Waco Holiday Lighting. They're just all in Serve Waco. That's kind of our new brand that we're kind of pushing. But like you said, today we're here to talk about the Move Waco.
Yeah, we'll get the other two in another point. Maybe at Christmas time we'll do Christmas lights.
But no, it's fun. Like you were saying, we feel like we started the businesses no one wants to do. With moving, some people like lawn care and Christmas lights, but it's like all three of them people can do, but like none of them want to do. So we always laugh at that. Yeah,
I think it's like I picture it, like my wife asking me to go do something, and these three things, which will be like no, like I don't want to move.
It's put
the lights up, like just even the amount of extension cords that I have purchased at Lowe's that don't really even work. Like you probably could look at the yard and be like, Corey, this could be done in a much more efficient way. Like I'm blowing breakers and all this stuff. I hate doing the Christmas lights. And I hate it. So okay, well, cool. So Serve Waco, but today we're gonna talk about the Move Waco business entity. So okay, so growing up together, first business mowing lawns. That's awesome. So then you grow up, high school, Texas State. Did you go to college college, Micah?
Yeah, so I actually went to Texas State for a little bit as well, but I ended up graduating from Tarleton.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we had an escape room down there for a little bit.
That's right, you told me
Marcus,
that.
Yeah.
In that shop by Bobcat Nation.
We
talked about it before.
Pie Society.
We talked about it before.
I think my favorite thing to go down there was a time where I drove to San Marcos. I went to Pie Society for 3 hours.
Right.
And then they have an insomnia cookie there at Texas State, the really late night cookie joint.
Right.
So I love that thing.
Yeah.
So I went there and then I had an appointment with somebody at the city and then left, and I didn't even go to the escape room.
No.
My manager's like, did you fix those 2 things? I was like, I'm so sorry.
Right. Got busy, huh?
Yeah, I'm in Austin now.
Yeah,
so
that's hilarious.
Yeah, it was, but I did I was 3 years of my life.
We love San Marcos.
Yeah. Cool city, man.
Beautiful.
I remember first time scouting it out.
Yeah.
I just thought the hills and obviously the river, and it just stuck in my mind.
It's hard to beat. Yeah.
Really cool. So so college, both Texas State, and then you both graduated, came back to Waco, or was there some stints in there?
Yeah, so like I said, I went to Texas State, but came back. I graduated from Tarleton at MCC.
Okay, very cool.
And so when I moved back, was looking for a job, found a job with Mover.
Cool.
Worked with them for about a year.
Okay.
And it was good. Just as I was there, kind of saw some things that I might do differently. Yeah. And so from there, saw that there was an opportunity for me to go ahead and start a company, which was labor only at the time. So this is while Rhett was still at Texas State.
Okay.
And so we were pretty much just loading and unloading U-Hauls.
Yeah.
And so started that. And then once Rhett graduated and moved back, he actually had started Move Waco.
Cool.
And then through that, we kind of just, since we were in the same industry, kind of kept in contact. And then really we found it, as we continued, found it beneficial for us to kind of join forces. So, so that's where we, Serve Waco was really created through that.
Oh, very cool. Okay. So that's how, and give me some years. So when did Move Waco, when did you start?
So you started 2015 for Quick. It was called Quick Move Waco.
Quick Move Waco.
Like I said, the labor only. And then in 2018, I started Move Waco.
Okay.
But the same years we started Mow and Light separately. So it was all kind of mixed together, kind of a mess. And then as of 2020 is when we finally started Serve Waco, partners and everything.
Cool.
Totally cleared up. So
awesome.
Yeah, it was kind of a weird start, but we got here.
So, Waco Escape Rooms, I own that with my best friend.
Okay. Yeah.
And I don't know the level of friendship between the two of you. Yeah. But everybody always, don't do it. Don't get into business with your friend. Don't do business with your best friend. It's just going to get messy, whatever. And honestly, and I don't know if it's our personality types, but we've been doing this 7 years now, and it's it's great. It flows really well. We've never had huge arguments. We've never really disagreed on what's the next thing we should be doing. Right. I mean, there's obviously things that come up, but I think communicate well and work through it. So is that, has that, I know you're both sitting next to each other.
No, man, I really don't like
hate this guy. But I mean, has that been do you think a plus to Serve Waco and Move Waco and all these things, or?
Well, I think, for at least, from my side of it, knowing Rhett and growing up with him, I know him, I know his family and everything like that. So, just from that aspect, that goes, far for me, because I know every decision we're making affects him. And so, it's not just up to me to decide what's best for me. It's always about what's best for him too, and the business. So, I mean, I think just approaching it that way is really what, that's all you could ask for. So
cool.
And I think what was good for us too is we were really close growing up. Saw him at Texas State a lot, but there was some time where we didn't talk a whole lot, and so we weren't super close at the time. But I think that was the best thing for us is we weren't buddy super close when we started the business. So I feel like that actually helped. But I think the best thing for us too is we have the same long-term goals. We know what we want to do. We disagree all the time on stuff, but we know how to talk through it, and we understand why the other person's saying that. And for Micah, he's a lot better at numbers, the back end of it. And I try to do more of the sales, just talking to the customers and setting up stuff like this. So that part works out, because some of the stuff he does, I do not want to do. I like the same for him.
That's the same. That's literally the same thing with Jared and I. He does all the books, the legal stuff. I'm just let me be the forward-facing person, and and it balances well, and you don't pointing fingers at each other, what are you doing? It's you're both doing the thing that you have the strength to do.
Well, and it's kind of like marriage too. Like I feel like he's made me better. I feel like he's made me better at some of that stuff, and I probably have helped him some. Hopefully, on some of that too. So
people, it's always best when they're married and they never had a business before, and they'll come to me and be like, "I want to start X, whatever they want to do," and like, "What? Can you kind of give me some sense?" And I'm like, "Well, it's like being married to your husband Steve. That's pretty much it. Like, we'll walk away." So, but yeah, I mean, there's a lot of similarities and between both. Obviously, marriage has some different things going on, but like it's how you talk and communicate.
Definitely.
Like all this stuff. So, which kind of, I think at the heart of, and we'll wrap it into the review, but like I think of reviews, it also ultimately the breakdown is this kind of communication thing, right? The customer is upset about something that happened that 9 times out of 10 really isn't I'll say it's not the fault of the business. It's more like just some outlier thing, and then it didn't get resolved with communication. Like they leave like frustrated, like I wasn't heard. So now the only way that I feel like I can get back at them is a 1-star review or something like that.
Definitely.
And so that's why, I mean, communication is always.
And I feel like moving is, besides like restaurants, I feel like moving is probably one of the harder things to get good reviews in.
Sure.
Because I always tell this to people, but I heard like a statistic that like marriage is right behind divorce as far as like stressful times in your life.
Sure.
So it's like we're coming to a situation where a lot of times either the customer has had a moving company that has done them wrong before, or they've never even used movers and they don't know the process. So I feel like that's our struggle all the time, is just being trusted with them too, so and it's always kind of tough going.
Moving is stressful.
Moving is just stressful in
general.
Majority of people don't like change. It's just like they like their rut, they like their way, and now you're moving a house, or, your home, and that is hard. Like
Mike and I, we both moved this year, and we were both like, man, I forgot how hard this is. It took us like months to prep, and you're like, God, you really forget, until you're the person.
I totally. Dude, will you guys go in and like pack it all too?
We do.
Or do you do that too?
And that's part of the review. When we dive into the review, there's some of that actually helped us. I got to admit, there's a lot. Cool. We try to always, learn from our mistakes and learn from our stuff. At the time we weren't perfect, and we're still not. And one of the things we learned is we actually hire out packers now because of this review.
Nice,
and it's just so much better. They work with our team, and it's been great.
I think that's big time.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, right. It's like I planned that transition.
All
right, so we are now going to dive into this review, and let's rewind.
Yeah.
All right. So this comes from. So this is a Google review. Yeah, Google review. No, is this Yelp?
Google.
This is Google. Yeah. So we say her name because anybody can go look at this.
Yeah.
So Patricia Dungan?
Yeah, I think that's right.
Dungan? Okay, we might just call her Patricia. A few things I like to look at here. This is interesting. So Patricia, we look at like the Gmail account, right? Because you have to have a Gmail account to leave these Google reviews.
Right.
So typically somebody that doesn't have a picture always is like my first red flag of like, they don't actually use this account.
Right.
They just made it real quick to leave a bad review or something.
Yeah.
But they do have 15 reviews. So they've left 14 other reviews. I would love to know if she leaves more positive or negative.
And I actually looked before I came in, so I have a little background. But I would say it's very split. It's either 5-star or 1-star, which is everyone. That's what it's 5-star or 1-star, but they're pretty split. She gives a lot. She gives a lot of 5 stars too. So we must have really done bad on this one.
No. Okay. I love when you do a little background.
Yeah.
She's done 2 photos. I don't. Did she leave a picture with this? No,
I don't think so.
There's no picture here. Okay. This is the longest review that we have reviewed on the show. But to keep with the what we do, I'm going to read the whole thing. I might kind of turbo read, and if I fumble, forgive me. Yeah. So, okay. Oh, and this was left 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
2 years ago. Okay, Patricia, we're going to do you right here. Okay. We were puzzled as to the service that we got in moving our belongings. Maybe it was a bedtime, but it was the point that we sold our house and we went to another house. Maybe it was the timing. Oh, guys. Okay. But we explained to them that we had to be out by December 31st. They knew it was a holiday, and they told us 3 weeks in advance that what we were needing. We moved on December 31st, which I understand is holiday. Looking back now, we both decided that because it was a holiday, they were trying to get us out as quickly as possible so they could celebrate the holiday. And I understand that, but it was going to be a problem. They should not have taken the job. We had packed as many boxes as we could in preparation for the move day. When we got moved into the house, the boxes that we labeled were easy to find. The boxes they labeled had a combination of different rooms and we had a really hard time in finding things. To the point I had to go to the grocery store because we could not find anything that belonged in the kitchen as far as groceries, including things like salt and pepper. When we began to put the bed together in the spare room, we noticed that something was wrong. It was missing one board. We did find the board, but it was in the garage. However, it had a missing bolt, and there was not a bolt to attach the headboard and the footboard. It was a sleigh bed, so it needed the extra board to hold the mattress and box spring. As I unpacked, I found scratches on some of the furniture. Picture frames were broken, not the glass, just the wood frame, and many things that looked like they had just been thrown in boxes. I began to take pictures and sent them to the owner, and all I got was an apology. He had given a price of packing the first. Next page. First was an apology. He had given a price of packing the first day and moving the second day. However, they were still packing on the second day, and you could tell they were in a hurry to get everything packed. I took pictures, but however, they were on my phone, which losing everything now don't have them, but he has them, and I made sure sent them to him. I did express to him I did not want to pay for anything, just to tell him these things. A lot of these things were momentous except for the furniture. Mementos. Oh, man. In observing how they were packing, they had 3 pick people packing one box. And I believe that's how things got mixed up. Bedroom stuff was in the kitchen box was in the bedroom box. Second bedroom was in the Baylor room. Baylor room was in the second room. We moved in December 31 and began moving in. This is January 1st of this day, This is January 1st, and of this day, February 12th, we have not found a very expensive large vase, which I told one of the packers which box it went in because it was a special box. We have not found it, but assume soon it is in the garage, which was only to assume to have Christmas package in the garage. There were several things that like that, which was explained which box to go into, which room they go into from there. It didn't happen. We would suggest if you use movers, make sure you stand over them and make sure that everything is packed as you would like. Packing your things in tons and tons of paper will not keep it from breaking. Many breakables were packed with bubble wrap flat on the box, and then one on top not wrapped around or taped to cover the breakable things. We didn't want to do this review, but we urge people that have a lot of expensive items, vintage or otherwise, would want to know how this moving company packs their things. Would like to tell everyone to take care and investigate your movers thoroughly.
You did it.
Jeez. Oh my gosh. I think I misspoke 19 times.
You got it.
Okay. All right.
A lot.
Brett, Brett and Micah.
Yeah.
Tell me what happened here. What's going on?
I'll let Red take the floor on this.
Yeah. So
Rhett, will you start?
To that part, like Micah was saying, this was kind of the time where I think I may have still owned Move Waco by myself, right? I don't know if he had actually come on board yet. Okay. So a lot of this stuff, he heard it from me because it was funny back then. We would actually use the same movers too, so it worked out. But yeah, and it was so long ago. I honestly have forgot a lot of it. Okay. The things I do remember is one of the funnier parts to me was that they said we were in a rush for it was like New Year's Eve.
Yeah,
night.
Yeah.
But before the move, I told them that we could move that day, and then that morning they said, "Hey, by the way, we have a party at 4 p.m. that we have to go to tonight, so we need y'all to be done by 4." So that put a lot of stress on us to really. I was actually on part of the move with them helping out. Yeah. So that put a lot of stress on us to get it done by 4 o'clock. Yeah. 4 o'clock. To the packing part, like I said, some of that we may not have been the greatest packers at the time when we first started. So we did take a lot of that. We got better as we went, and then we actually started outsourcing a lot of that too to that part.
Do you remember, and listing off their 20 bedrooms here, or the Baylor room and all this stuff? Do you remember how big this house was? Is that
it was just pretty. I feel like maybe 3-bedroom, 2-house, pretty standard average size, under 2,000 square foot, pretty standard size, size move. I'd say, and they weren't moving too far. Everything seemed to be going good. At the end of the move, I was there when they finished up, and she just told us how happy they were with our service, and that she was going to recommend us to everyone they know. So but that's what we tell our guys too, is like, we just got to make sure, the customers may be telling you one thing there, but then down the road they may, say something else. So I think that's one thing we learned too on that part. So
well, in saying that, just from what I remember the job, I remember it being stressful because there was the issue about them having to be done
that
soon.
that was a major thing.
And then, it was just from my point of view, like she said, it was, done on December 31st. Then we hear something or get a review on February 12th.
Yeah.
It's just odd whenever, you do something and someone tells you how great they did.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden a month and a half later, you hear, you just hear that. And so it's just tough.
Bros and heroes. Gonna tell you about bros and heroes. Gonna tell you about.
Hey, I'm Zach.
And I'm Mike.
And we have a fantastic new podcast to tell you about. Bros, Foes, and Heroes. It's the two of us looking into the world of comics, breaking down some characters that you may have never heard of, and some that are just absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, so Zach comes up with a character each time, and I go into it just completely blind. I don't know who this person is or what their abilities are or anything, and basically I guess we kind of go over their origin story and just some of the ridiculous stuff that maybe, especially Golden Age stuff.
Oh, Golden Age stuff is always the best, and we will make sure to highlight all of the shenanigans and just absolute weirdness of everything.
Yeah, that's right. So subscribe today and follow us on Instagram at Bros Foes Heroes.
And if you don't, I know where you live. Not really, but please subscribe.
Bros and heroes. Gonna tell you about bros and heroes. Gonna tell you about.
Hi, this is Sarah.
And I'm Carter.
And this is Some of Our Thoughts.
We're two Southern sommeliers, and we want to share everything we love and know about wine. We started hanging out during quarantine and cooking and drinking and listening to music, and we just thought this would be a great way to bring everything we know to you guys.
We will make wine knowledge and food pairings easy and approachable. So put on your favorite vinyl, grab your favorite glass of wine, tune into our show, and let's have some fun.
Wine and
vinyl.
So check us out on roguemedianetwork.com or wherever you get your favorite podcast. We'll be talking about a lot.
Hey y'all, I'm April.
Hi, I'm Caroline.
And we have a new podcast for you. What's it called, Caroline?
Bloody Happy Hour.
It's going to be your new favorite guilty pleasure. We're going to talk about some bloody stuff. Serial killers, true crime, rapists. Why not join us? We'll have a good time.
You literally never know. I don't know what I'm going to say. Bloody Happy Hour. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
That is a different, I would say that's unique here, to leave a review that long after, because it's typically like in the heat of the moment, you're emotional, you're upset about something. Right. So it's just like next day, boom, or like you leave the establishment, leave the review.
Right.
It's interesting that they spend, one, writing a novel on it, but two, doing it February 12th, but I mean, it's like a month and a half after the fact. So it's almost like if somebody, I don't know, had like brought up the fact they couldn't find this vase, and then it like triggered, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to leave this review. And then to be that detailed a month and a half later too is kind of remarkable. That, and I guess we're just assuming this is all correct, but like to recall back all those things is kind of rough too. I can't tell you what I ate yesterday, let alone a detailed move. So that's interesting.
I remember something interesting too is that, so she left that review and I was kind of, baffled. And then I don't remember why, but maybe a month later, I was looking, I think it was on Facebook at like direct messages.
Yeah.
And if you don't follow somebody,
it sits in this other spot. Yeah.
I went to there because I saw I had something, and she sent me the pictures she was talking about and all the complaints, and I had never even received them. And so at that point, I think I already contacted, and to her point, just saying I apologize. We did offer a cash refund to them as well. That's what we typically, when we have damage, we try to work out to where we don't have to go to insurance. We do have policies in place, but for their sake and ours, it's usually best for us to just either replace the item, fix it, or give a cash offer. So at that time, that's when I asked if she wanted a reimbursement, and that's where she said no, thank you. She was
that's what she was mentioning, like the I didn't want the money thing.
But I do remember that where I was like, oh my gosh, I have all these because to this point, like all jokes aside, like it is a personal. We take it super personal, like all this is because it's like it's your livelihood, and we used to be on like when he first started, we're on something called movinghelp.com where it's like how he got started with people use you through U-Haul to either load them or unload them. And the way you're ranked to get jobs is based on reviews and like price. And we don't use it anymore. This was a few years ago when we first started, but we got like one bad review
out of like 300.
Out of 300, we had like he had like 300 5 stars and one bad one, and he got no more job. There was no more job.
Sunk it off that list. That just one.
Yeah, literally couldn't get a job from him. So
that's like what, and again, not like putting the big chain, the Chick-fil-A's of the world and stuff down, but it's like when it's like. It's like a one-on-one business, meaning like this is the thing you do, right? Move Waco, or serve Waco, and it has like 3 things. It's like this is you do take it personally, and I know customers maybe think, oh, they're just greedy and they just want the money, they don't care about it. Like no, like you get that notification on your phone that says like you received a 1-star or whatever, and you read it, and it sucks. It's like you lose sleep, and you're like, what did I do? It feels that way, and I know people on the other side of it think, oh, they don't care. You do care. I wonder if, and I'm just thinking like how like my family, like how we would have if Lauren had sent something on Facebook and we didn't hear anything, there would have been like an email too, or something like, hey, they didn't respond to me on Facebook, and let's send an email, and then that would have undoubtedly like come in, hey, complaints about this move, and you would have seen it. So I think part of that, it's not you ignoring it, like you said. I've seen those too, where it's like it's like in that junk folder or whatever that is on Messenger. That's not your fault,
right? And because there is a process too, and something's damaged, so we everything's through the Texas DMV, that we're all do everything through. And so as soon as they send that there's damage, we actually go to their house just to get photos, make sure everything's what it says it is. So there's a process we follow, and email, phone call, we would have been there the next day. We try to go the next day. So that was just kind of a tough thing too. Like not knowing what any of this was. Like the last thing I heard was y'all did a great job. We're going to refer to everyone, and then get this. And I was just like baffled,
So I don't want to go down a rabbit trail here, but if people will work whatever angle they'll work. If the move happens, everything's great. What's to say they don't like throw it on the ground?
Right, yeah.
And then say, look at this, it broke in the move. You're going over there taking pictures. Like, is that just people being bad, and there's no way to really...
It's definitely happened before. And it's just, I think the one thing for us is, when we bring people on, we talk about, hey, whenever we're going into someone's home, like, we're moving everything they've worked for their entire life. And so, when we touch something, you can't just be like, oh, that's just a chair. Like, whether you believe that it's that it's nice or not, it's really not up for us to dictate. We need to treat it all the same. And so, we always want to exceed expectations. And so, for one, if there is, damage like that, we talk to the guys because, we tell them to approach it that way. So if something was damaged, they typically know of, the scenario or what happened, so I would say, luckily, we don't have too many issues with people just calling and saying we broke everything, but it does happen.
It does happen.
In those situations, we just have to talk with the guys and see what the situation was, and just go from there. Like Rhett said, we'll go out to the home and kind of observe what they're saying, and so it can just be tricky sometimes, but
and it's to that point. I was gonna say it's forced us, like as a small business, to put procedures in place to where we protect ourselves, whether it's like when we first get there, taking pictures of damage that's already done, because that's happened too, where we had a move a couple of years ago where there was a washer and dryer that had, our mover told us there were some scratches like on the front of it.
Yeah.
They didn't say anything. We moved it. Hey, y'all scratched this. And so now that's just like really preventative stuff where when we first get there, hey, we're going to take a couple minutes, get a couple pictures, just make sure you are aware of the damage. So that seemed to help a lot.
And just with reviews, like, with this one specifically with the packing, but just with stuff like that, obviously this hurts because we never want to see stuff like this, but it does go a long way for us because we are able to take, okay, so what can we do better?
Yeah.
And, it just, like Rhett was saying, put the procedures in place to kind of prevent those things. So,
I mean, it sounds like when you're going to rent a car or something, or, if there's this big scratch, hey, there's a scratch here and you take a picture and do that. Not that, I mean, if you did that with every item in a house, your move would take 2 weeks. But that makes sense. Like bigger items, if it's like really scratched or really dinged, it does make sense to kind of snap a picture of it.
Right.
This part seems a little, not ridiculous, that's the wrong word, but like, or maybe she's Wonder Woman, but where they talk about cooking, like, so we moved into the house, the boxes that we labeled were easy to find. So basically they had lost the kitchen stuff.
Right.
To the point I had to go to the grocery store because we couldn't find anything that belonged in the kitchen. So I guess she's not saying they cooked that night, but the way I'm reading this is that they cooked. They moved, and then they were like, now let's make dinner for everybody.
Right.
Like, just go get pizza. Like, what are you
not the
doing?
best time to cook.
You just moved.
Right.
You don't have to cook. I mean, unless you have to.
Right.
So I guess I don't want to just.
Good, but that's a good point.
I mean, wow. Like, my wife was doing some adjunct teaching, and that got over at like 8 o'clock, and every night, like, we don't even have kids yet.
Yeah.
And that was like, Corey, pick up something.
Right.
It's like, and that's not even moving a house. So that stuck out to me. Like,
that is a little crazy.
You're really going to bring that up? But so was the party, so out by 4, what did that, they were going to a party?
Yeah. What event is that they have New Year's Eve? There's something in Waco they have like a New Year's Eve. There was like a party downtown that they were having.
Okay. So they just needed someone they were saying you have to be out by 4 because we're all leaving the house.
Right.
And so no one would be there to like lock up or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we need to be done. And so just like how they worded, like that we had plans.
Like it was on us.
Like you had plans and they had plans.
Yeah.
What is how long does a 3-bedroom, 2,000 square foot house? I mean, I know it probably varies, but what's like your standard amount of time you leave?
Like you said, it's tough to say because people are just different in terms of what they have.
Sure.
So to give you a super broad, probably 6 to 10 hours.
6 to 10 hours? Okay.
Somewhere in there.
Okay.
I would say the average would be probably 8.
Okay.
But just depending on what you have.
So you got there. I mean, this would be getting there at like 8 in the morning or earlier to try to get this out.
Right.
And they told you the day before it had to be done by
that morning.
That morning?
Yeah.
So if you had gotten there at like 10, assuming you had into the night, well, I don't know how you would have.
And that's probably why I was on the. I probably had to come onto the job to help. Because I don't think I started on that job, and that's probably why I ended up on the job.
They're calling you need to get here. I wish. Yeah. These are always like what side of the coin you're looking at. Yeah. Mentioning that would be a little helpful to know like the speed in which things had to get done at the end, or whatever.
And I said that's the hardest part is giving an estimate for moving because we do like a not to exceed estimate, so we're given like the high side based on how many men and trucks you need. Sure. So we always, if we think it's going to be an 8-hour move, we might say 10, and then you just get charged however long it takes. But that makes it hard when like trying to tell someone how long it's going to take because you might run into something where you're moving a fridge, have to take the doors off, or a bunk bed's hard to take apart. You just never know like really what you're going to run into sometimes.
No joke. And the fact the only thing you really lost outside of this vase that is somewhere, probably in the garage, like she said, but a bolt. Like one bolt went missing. There is, and I understand it sounded like an important bolt, but like one bolt. Like I think you just, like when you built Legos as kids, like they always sent the extra Lego pieces. Like when you move, I think you just assume there's probably going to be some bolts that go missing, and that's just like part of the game, for that to kind of get brought up.
And that's what people, and I've just learned this in general, but people are just so different. Like you never know what to expect, and so that's what we always tell our guys, because I try to fill out the customer too, like when I go to an estimate and just let them know like, hey guys, we always want to follow the same procedures and be on our A game, but I'm just like, hey, they're a little more particular. Let's make sure we're really on our A game. These guys are a little more laid back, but let's still stay on top of our game. So just trying to give them a heads up, because like you said, I think some people understand that moving things might happen, but some don't. They don't get it. They want it to be perfect.
Because I mean, in some cases you have people who are moving into dream home, or
Right,
their nicest,
right.
and so they may be accumulating furniture for this home, and then we're going to move all of this, and so it's just tough, because furniture isn't meant to be moved, it's meant to do this.
It is meant to do this.
So it's just whenever you start moving it over and over again, it just it just be tough.
Yeah.
How often? It's not. This is more just a general question I have, but like if they were downsizing and they have to like take stuff to a storage unit or something, do you have to like make that stop? Do you do that where like you stop at the storage unit first, take out the storage unit stuff, and then drive to the house and then undo the rest?
Right. Yeah.
So does that ever turn into complications where like a box got put in storage that was meant to be put in the house?
I would say, that like we were talking about earlier, communication so huge.
Yeah.
So as long as we communicate with the guys and that, if there is a situation like that, typically we don't run into those issues because, if this room's going to storage and this one's going to the house, and whichever one you're going to do first, you want to be on the back of the truck. That way you can get it first,
Yes.
And so as long as there's communication and a plan, usually that's not too big of an issue.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, because talking about the searching the boxes for things, and the boxes were labeled, and again, labeling is great. You need that for organization, but I feel like there has to be some grace given for like one-off items might get moved around, or maybe they changed where it was going to go, and it wasn't necessarily anybody's fault. I don't know, and she didn't want to check the Christmas stuff. I was gonna say like how much Christmas stuff do you have, but then I remember it
was a good amount.
It was probably a good amount. Yeah, growing up, my mom, so she was adopted and on Christmas Day, and so Christmas was always a big deal for my mom growing up. So when she married my dad and then had me, and then it was just our family. Christmases were just, we had 7 Christmas trees in our house.
Wow.
7, like the train tree, the angel tree, all the trees. So like when we would move, and we moved quite a bit, like the Christmas stuff was almost like the movers thought that was the house. I was like, no, this was the Christmas stuff. So because what I was going to say was like, maybe just look through the Christmas boxes.
Right.
And you probably find your vase. But we had a lot of Christmas stuff. So
and
maybe,
I think that's one thing that we did try to get better on, is because there were times where our guys would pack and put kitchen, and we're like, okay guys, we gotta, because a lot of people do want to know, like to that point when they're unpacking, like where to put stuff. So I think that is one of the things where we really try to pick up on this, is like we do have to, and if you don't know, just ask them like, what do you want on this, because sometimes you don't know what exactly all goes in there. So
they had a lot of Christmas stuff. Is that where like you go in the attic and there's just like all this is Christmas?
Garage,
garage. Anytime there's an attic, you better do that in the morning, because in the summer, if you wait till 10, 11 o'clock, it's gonna be so hot.
You can just be dripping out there. My gosh. Okay. Well, this was. It sounded interesting. Again, the writing a novel a month and a half after. It's like when you watch those like crime shows and they like want to interview the victim like right after it happened, because it's like fresh. It's fresh in your head, and So if to do it later, that's one of the most interesting parts of this review to me.
And that's. It is kind of. We had this happen a couple weeks ago where someone reached out for some paint that got nicked on a job a month ago. Yeah. And you just wonder, like, what, I don't know. Because,
after that, how are we supposed to validate whether it was or what, There's like the situation you were talking about earlier, but.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and even with, like, kids, I don't know. I'm assuming they had kids because there's so many bedrooms and stuff, but, like, I don't know, kids... They move stuff around and they break. How old's Rory?
A year and a half.
Year and a half. Yeah. Like Rory's picking up something. There's a scratch. It's broken. I don't know. So all of that it has to be accounted for.
Right. Definitely.
I think.
Definitely.
In your guys' experience, I don't know how many moving companies are in Waco. Like I think outside of your U-Haul's just a truck company. They don't move.
Yeah.
They just
Right, but they do, the thing for them is that when you do rent a truck online, they push that, like what I was saying, the moving helper. So you can technically use those moving helpers. So, but in terms of full service, what we are providing truck and trailer, they're not necessarily there.
Okay. Yeah. Do you go look at other reviews for other moving companies?
Yeah, man, that's something where we've gotten pretty good, because like you said, it's 1 or 5 stars. That's that's what you get. And so luckily we've been building them a lot, getting a good reputation in town. Yeah. We've been doing this probably about 4 years with Move Waco. Waco.
Yeah.
And there were no national companies in town.
Sure.
And now the little guys,
Yeah.
the college hunks,
Yeah.
and there's like a third one now. So just the growth and, you know, our advertising dollars don't go as far now, like having to, you know, compete against them. So it is crazy to see. And the things with them is they get to use their reviews from all over. They're getting tons of reviews. So to compete with the, you know, with them, it takes a lot for sure.
Well, so, okay, tell me about, this goes off a little bit from the review, but like how many, do you have one? I always see the one truck, and so maybe there's like 10 trucks. And I just see them all. But how many moving trucks do you guys have right now?
Yes.
Yeah, so we have two moving trucks right now, and then you know, as far as the mow and the lights, we have a, you know, pretty much a mow rig and a light rig.
And a light rig. Is the light rig has like a stand? Like, does it like get you up into trees or something?
I would love to get up. We're like, right now we're still on ladders. But hopefully we'll be getting.
We'll work up to
it.
Right. My dream, and I think I've talked to Red about this, but so when we did Waco Pedal Tours, we started it 2017, and we opened it specifically for Christmas time,
right?
Because we were like, I had just done Lights in the Heights in Houston, where like it's this neighborhood called the Heights, and every house goes crazy with Christmas lights. And there's like, this is a huge neighborhood, and it's like a revitalized area, and there's like young people building homes and renovating.
Right.
And so there was like music at some point, like in this park. And so it's a big thing.
Neat.
It's really cool. So I go down there and I'm like, dude, we're going to do this in Castle Heights. Like everyone puts up lights. You know, I was like, this be a thing. So I was like, we're going to get the bike and we'll do Christmas light tours through through Castle Heights. Yeah. So we get the bike and we had our driver, we had book tours. And so we had the first one went out. So like we're serving hot chocolate at like the front of where the tour started. So I didn't actually get to go into Castle Heights. Right. So we're sitting there with the next group and our driver calls like 45 minutes into it. And he's calling, he's like, hey, Cory, we have a problem. And I'm like, oh God, there's already a problem. Like we just started 45 minutes into this business. And he's like, dude, no lights. And I was like, what? And he was like, no one put Christmas lights up. And I was like, no. I was like, dude, it's Castle Heights. Like, I assume there's a little bit more money in there. And I'm like, he's like, yeah, like a one house every like 4 houses. And so people had a fine time. But it completely flopped because I didn't even think they're not going to put Christmas lights up. And so, you know, they maybe are better now. We don't do it anymore because of that. But I had like talked to the homeowners guy and I was like, look, how do I get all of these people to put up Christmas lights? Right. And he was like, oh, it's easy. You just pay for it. And I was like, I thought over you, Rhett. I'm like, I guess I'll just call Rhett and say, what is this going to cost me to get lights on? You know, it's $100,000 or something. But
that is crazy.
I just wish I don't know why they don't do it. Like I don't like it's probably
beneficial for the city of Waco too.
I think it'd be so cool.
Yeah,
and again, not trying to make assumptions about how much people make and stuff, but like again, that neighborhood's I think a little more affluent. Right. Yeah. And if you made it into something where, hey, there's this company that puts them up, you can contact them. Right. You know, we're gonna do like a first, second, third place winner. You can get a cash prize, or it can go to a charity or whatever you want to phrase it. But like, you won't have to get on your house and put the lights up. Like if that's what's holding you back, there's a company that'll do it. You know, and I've always felt like, I was like, should we do that? You have to almost do it now.
Right. Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah.
As you plan out.
Yeah. You only have a couple months to do all this. So it's like we're already starting to plan for this year, you know.
But you would need a big rig.
Right.
Ladders would be too slow. You need the big, whatever that is, picker thing.
Definitely.
Okay. Well, so moving trucks. Okay. So that's where that question came from. Just seeing you guys around.
Right. Yeah. And the good thing is too, there are, you know, like when we have tons of jobs in the summer, because it fluctuates so much. Like summer is just when we're swamped and all the kids are out for school. But being able to have access to like rentals that we can use too, you know, that's always been great for us as well.
And it probably, and this is like my dad has done it more where he rents the truck because he's like has to drive it around. So then he's just calling somebody to say, hey, come help us move. Right. I think we texted about that.
Maybe so. Yeah.
There was a moving company. And I don't even remember. Again, this is my dad, so he doesn't. He was just Googling. So he found some movers, and they showed up. It's supposed to be 2 guys. The one guy showed up, right? And my dad was like, "Okay," and he's like, "Sorry, that other guy canceled."
Oh my gosh!
And my dad was like, "Oh, okay. Well, do you have backup?" He's like, "No, it's just me." And it was like, so my dad called me. He was like, Cory, you got to come help. And I'm like, why is this my fault? I got to come move. The whole point was so I didn't have to come help you move. And like, but it. And again, I truly don't remember the name of him, but it was just like, sorry.
Yeah. Right.
Like there was no, and again, maybe he truly had no other play there, but to like not try to think of something. Right.
Yeah.
You know, and then I think I texted you And it
I
was,
think I do remember that. Yeah.
And it was like, can you get someone over here in 10 minutes?
Right.
Like,
Yeah,
so
I do
stupid.
remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, but so, cause I was trying to get out of it.
Yeah.
And then my dad was like, just help. I was like, okay, fine.
Well, and that's, I think that's been the hardest part of being a business owner, but it comes on you, so if we've had mornings where our guys, especially when we were first starting out, luckily we have backups now and we have guys that can help if something happens. But when we first started, somebody sick that morning. Well, looks like I'm moving.
Yeah,
it,
like
I wasn't planning on it, but I'm headed to it. And just being a business owner, I think that's something we take very serious is the customer experience, and I hate seeing stuff like that, but like you're saying, we would never just show up with one person. You gotta do whatever it takes to make it work.
It's just the professionalism. I mean, if you say you're gonna be there with something, or at least just giving a heads up versus just, just nothing.
Just nothing. And again, it wasn't the kid's fault. Like, and honestly, he was a hoss, man. I remember he was like not very big. And I was thinking, oh, dude, he's not. He was like strapping stuff to his back, and I'm like, where these muscles are coming from. But and so so it wasn't his fault, but it was just like, I just hate the no.
Right.
And then nothing after.
Right.
Like, come on, work with me here. Like, there's got to be something. And
so, absolutely.
But anyway,
we've heard some horror stories from moving, definitely.
For sure. Well, you have a very good reputation. And I wanted everybody to hit you guys up. So
appreciate that.
Okay, so we did past. Talked about the review that took me 10 minutes to read. Present, kind of where things are at.
Right.
You had mentioned, but maybe say it again. Anything from this review? Did it affect anything moving forward in how you guys did business, or did it confirm like a new policy that you started that were like, we really need to keep doing that because of this review?
Yeah, I think the main thing was the packing. I think that's something where we felt like we could have help training, the labeling part of it. I think that was the main thing we took away. That eventually led us to contracting that out, and that has been great for us. We work with a local company in town where she's a professional packer, and I hate saying this, but when guys show up to your house to pack things, a lot of people don't like that. So having her to help on board, and if our guys are needed, to be able to train them, it's just been huge. So I think the packing, and always just the communication part of it too. I feel like we could always get better, and it sucks I didn't see that message, but just always trying to communicate the customer. I think is a big thing for us. So
and I'll be pretty redundant because I mean, I think the packing. I mean, because for us, when we first read it, it does seem kind of like about the kitchen. It does seem kind of funny, but realistically, a kitchen could have 60 boxes. So if you pack, I mean, if you just put every box as kitchen, it could be pretty hard to find. So like saying that, the labeling, that is definitely something we could be better on. And like what Rhett said, just outsourcing and just look, taking a different perspective. Like, let's actually get this really professionally done. And then just doubling down on communication. I just think that goes so far for that, whether it's business or life. Just communicating. And so I think both of those. That's just definitely what we took from it.
I feel like when you watch like any episodes like Fixer Upper or just people's style, it's like this open concept. This open concept. Now it's like, what room is this? Is it the kitchen? Is it the dining room? Is it the living room? Like it's all kind of one room now. So I think just the labeling.
And it seems like people are just getting so much stuff. And I know even we just moved recently, and we're trying to become minimalist, and we thought I didn't think we had anything. It took me weeks to get everything. I finally just got everything out, and I feel like we didn't have anything. So especially people that lived there for 30 years, and I always laugh at my parents, but I would hate to see them move.
Don't call me.
So somebody you just start to accumulate a lot, so it just really adds up.
That's crazy. Okay, well, good. Okay, final thing. What's my name again? Patricia. Okay, I'm Patricia. I'm in the room here in the studio. Is there any final thought? Thing, not thought. You're saying this, but what would you say to Patricia if she was in the room? Right now.
I mean,
with my vase. That I found.
Well, first I just apologize because we want every experience to be top notch. I mean, that's what we pride ourselves on, is being the best company in Waco. Kind of like what we said earlier. We know that when we step into a house, it's your entire life. And so, for us, we're approaching it that way. And, we like I said, we want you to have the best experience possible. And, we also want, with our brand Serve Waco, having the other businesses, we want, whenever you think of Move Waco or Serve Waco or Mo, we want people to think of the same reputation and know that they can trust it, and just know our standards, because our standards moving goes to mowing, goes to light, to everything we do. So and we use a lot of the same guys for some of the things that we do, and so just the standards that we have, we want our reputation to show that, we want Waco to be able to trust us.
Cool. I love that. I think as our world gets more automated, and just, we want things quicker and faster. And to do that sometimes has to take the human side out of it. Keeping that customer service and the fact that that's like y'all's mission in life, and tackling these 3 industries that definitely need high-end service to do well. I think speaks to the 2 of you, and then speaks to your staff and your company and everybody that's a part of it. I just love it, man. I'm blown away.
Well, thank you so much, man.
Yeah,
cool. Appreciate it.
Yeah, well, thanks for coming on. And we'll be in touch. If we move our studio, I'll call you.
Let us know.
Cool.
Yeah, awesome. Appreciate it, man.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Absolutely.
This has been a Rogue Media podcast.